Not long after that, you guys have now ratcheted up how great you are as a team, and you get into the finals in 1983.
Here's Gretzky. The last word for Gretzky, and Billy Smith. It's over. It's tough to take. You can see it written all over his face.
And got sloshed.
Got sloshed. Got 4-0 by the Islanders. What did you learn from that loss?
We had a bad goalie.
Oh, yeah.
You always got to blame the goalie, right?
Always blame the goalie at the end of the day.
I'll tell you what happened. So in the island, you got to walk by the home team's locker room on the way out to get on the bus. And I remember walking with Kevin Lowe and Mark Messier thinking, oh my God, I don't want to walk by this room and it's going to be chaotic. You know,
they're going to be celebrating.
And we walked by the room, and it was the most amazing thing we've ever seen. They were just sitting there because they were so physically and mentally beat up. And I remember thinking, as we all walked by, okay, now we understand what it takes to win a Stanley Cup. So as much as a hatred and a rivalry we had with the Islanders, if it wasn't for the New York Islanders and the great players and the great team they had, I don't know if we would have ever won the Stanley Cup, because we learned both on the ice and off the ice what it took to be a champion. That made our team. That made the Edmonton Oilers what it became. And after we lost in the final, in the first year of the Islanders, Glenn Sather, the day before Game 1, called me in his office, and the last thing you want to ever do is get called in Glenn Sather's office. I'm like, oh my God, now what? So I called in, and Lee was standing there. Lee Fogelin was our first captain. And Lee said with Glenn, you should be the captain of this team. It's time for you to be the captain and not me. And Lee said, you know, it's time. You're the guy that's going to get us a Stanley Cup championship. And I remember thinking, of all the guys we respected the most in our locker room was Lee Fogelin. And I was like, oh, I don't want to be the captain. You're the captain. So when I became the captain, Kevin Lowe and Coffey and Messier, we used to hang pictures along the locker room of guys who lifted the Stanley Cup, Bobby Clark and Jean Beliveau and Guy Lafleur. And they used to say to me every day, Gretz, you got to lift the Stanley Cup one day. So they would ignite me each and every day. And our thing too was, you're not a true superstar until you win a championship. Now it's different today because of free agency and all that kind of stuff. But in our era, to become a true sort of superstar, you had to be a champion, and we all knew that, and we all took that on our shoulders.